And what episode is this? I always mess that part of it up.
34.
34. How old is
Okay.
Dustin Johnson?
36.
Oh, I was about to say I thought we had some synergy with our Masters
Oh
champ
no.
being of the same age.
Well,
But
I'm guessing because he was my age in school, but I'm guessing. I think he's 36, though, isn't he?
yeah, I'll look it up to see here in a second. But episode 34 of the Golf Performance Group podcast, you've got one of your hosts, Lebronald Palmer, and
JJ Wood.
And Taylor Cusack, T-Sack.
Yeah, also known as T-Sack. JJ, when are we going to get you a nickname at this point? I mean, you're the only person.
To have one.
We got to come up with some. Do we need to do another poll? Taylor, can we do another poll? What options can we do for JJ at this point? I know at one point you had Natron. We're not going to do that. We're not going to use
Natron.
Was she not here for the Natron?
No, she was not here for that. Was your sister.
You're gonna have to go back and listen to that episode.
Oh,
you didn't even listen to all our episodes before you came on.
Whoops.
Jeez.
So the biggest thing and the reason why we wanted to make sure that we got together on a Monday is we had the Masters in November, which was still weird to me. And I think the reason why the scores was 20 under is because it was in November, because there was probably no way they could set up the course the way they would in April. So maybe from both of y'all perspective, how impressive is a win, 5 shots or better, biggest win at the Masters since Tiger won by 12 shots, 20 under, highest total score ever at the Masters. Just what are your thoughts?
Lowest total.
Or lowest, yes, lowest total score ever at the Masters. What are y'all thoughts?
I thought it was.
Go ahead, Taylor.
I thought it was pretty crazy, but at the same time, the rain delay a little bit that helped the players tremendously because they could just kind of fire at the pin and it's not really going to go anywhere. It just stood. So that was definitely a better scoring day for them. So that was kind of neat.
Yeah, since guys had already teed off, they couldn't go in there and suck. I don't think they could go in and suck the air out, the system under the greens. But since people had already teed off, I'm not sure if they could change the conditions. But they may have a little bit. I'm not sure.
And what made it?
That'd be a good question.
Did they do lift clean in place at all?
You can't after a group tees off because they didn't get to play their first hole. I know that for sure. But the air system, maybe they were able to dry it out. I'm not sure because there was puddling up, when they're showing it. The coverage during the rain delay, but then there wasn't when they played. So I'm not sure if they have a certain level or I don't know how they do that, what the rule would be.
Yeah, I was watching this thing about coaches and what they were attempting to, and both of, Taylor's been a coach previously and you're currently still a coach. And one of the things they were saying is before this Masters, since it was different than any other time, they really didn't know how to prepare for the course conditions because they had been preparing for the course conditions for, the last 50 years to be April. So from your perspective, what would y'all say?
Yeah, they kept referring to Bryson and his putting not being as good because he didn't have his greens book. So I'm assuming the green speed was different. And so his notes in I'm not sure because it's not like they redid all the greens, they're just saying it's such different conditions. The book didn't really help. So,
and it was also kind of crazy when you think of the Masters, you think everything is perfect, everything is beautiful and just in the best condition ever. And you see there's some wet spots and there's leaves on the floor. And I mean, it's just kind of like, this is so
It didn't look
odd.
the same. Yeah, it didn't look the same to me.
So everything seemed so out of place, but it was such a realistic golf tournament. But the Masters really isn't that.
Well, it's interesting because they have it playing so firm and fast in April, but like I noticed tee shots landing in the fairway, they weren't rolling. So
I noticed that also.
They extended the course to 7,600 or something.
Yeah.
And so it played all of 7,600 this time, where it probably played closer to 71, 7,200 when it's firmed out. So you're hitting a lot longer irons in this year than you were previously. So maybe the soft greens helped a little, but you're hitting different clubs in too. So
that's true.
Now let's do like biggest winners and biggest losers of the event. So to me, I think the biggest winner longer. At 63, he still finished like top 20. How does he keep doing it at the Masters? What is it about that course?
He beat Bryson, and he played with him the last day. And they said his average drive was like 250 off the tee for the week. I'm not sure what Bryson's was, but I'm pretty sure it was like over 300.
340, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I saw Bryson snap hook some balls that were, they were going 3 fairways over. Like
he bladed a couple shots, he chunked a couple.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're swinging at 140 miles an hour, you don't have to. Your timing doesn't have to be that far off for you to hit it just out of play right and left. That's why people like that Matt, whatever that Euro kid's name is that's bashing him. Like, it takes so much.
Fitzpatrick. Yeah.
I mean, it takes so much talent to control that speed. So it's not like, I can just bulk up and hit it in play 380. He showed this week it's pretty hard to control it. So,
but he also, after when he did the interview with Amanda, he said that he just has to get better. He physically is fine, but mentally he needs to work on that, which it kind of made me think, does he have vertigo? I mean, he was saying that he said he was dizzy. He said that he couldn't really, the ball was kind of just spinning a little bit. So that's kind of signs of vertigo.
Did he take a COVID test? Did he take a COVID test?
Yeah, he did.
So he did.
He
okay.
COVID and he didn't. Maybe, I mean, Breon, maybe from your football days, but what are the side effects from steroids? Maybe,
you think? Why would I know that?
I'm just saying, not you, but in the football world, there's a lot more guys taking roids than there is in the golf.
Well, just other sports in general, there's probably more guys doing some performance enhancing, but I've never been around a person who, in a casual walk, because let's be honest, golf isn't really. I mean, it's strenuous, but it's not like you're sprinting. Well, but you're not sprinting.
I'm out of breath if I have to walk to my ball.
To be out of breath and to be dizzy to where I think on one hole, like number 10, he was like almost fell over. Like that's more of a vertigo or a COVID or something along those lines. I don't think that could be any indication of, or he drank one of those adrenaline drinks that JJ drank before.
Yeah. That's what I said last week. He probably took his creatine. He mistimed it with the rain delay and all that.
That's probably what happened then, because he's
just really dramatic and he needs to sack up and just play better.
No, I think he probably really had an issue, and he's my biggest loser. Like, because everyone came into this event thinking,
Bryson's
going to overpower it.
Yeah, but they back majors.
Man, they thought he was going to overpower the course. I mean, DJ, me and Taylor were talking a little bit. How much has he won over the last, 10 events?
He has so much money.
He's won 50% of the events he's been in the last
he's in 10. Like a tiger hot streak right now.
So
I heard something on the radio. I think they said out of this last 7 wins, there was one win where he won by 2, but everything else was like, I feel like
blowing the field away.
Shots. Yeah.
So DJ is number 1 player in the world. When we talked last week, some of us had Rahm, Tiger, Justin Thomas. The name I never heard come up was Dustin Johnson. I don't know who. This kind of came out of nowhere to me. He had just came off of COVID-19, and then
he almost won Houston.
But those are 2 polar opposite courses. I mean, we live in Houston. We know that's not going to be anything like what you'll see in Georgia. So for me, it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, they're both big, and I feel like you're not hitting it out of play. You're just Augusta doesn't have any rough, and I guess the rough in Houston, but the greens are super undulated in Houston too. So
So
anyway.
any of y'all, do you have a big winner or a big loser on this week? Obviously, JJ, you were probably taking naps on Sunday, so you may not have anyone on the.
No, I waited for it to be over. It was early. I mean, it wasn't that late afternoon, start. So it was done by 2. I was just waking up, from the night before. No, I'm just kidding. But
or this is third nap of the day.
I would say the biggest loser is Abraham Answer, because he got into contention, and not only did he play bad and not win, but he missed the top 12, so he's not guaranteed to get in next year. And that's a big thing. I mean, you got to be top 50 in the world rankings, which I'm not sure what his is, but I feel like he would be a 30 to 60 kind of guy. So, that's huge. If you get top 12, you don't have to worry about that for next year. So,
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, to miss it by now, what did he miss it by?
One shot.
One shot.
Yeah, because
God.
on the last hole, like he had a 20-footer, and they're like, "This is to get in," the top 10, but it was like there was a tie, so he ended up like T14. I don't know, outside the top
that's
12.
devastating.
So,
Yeah,
that'd be brutal.
that is.
So,
Taylor,
Okay,
anybody?
this is gonna sound kind of crazy. Biggest loser, biggest winner. Even though Dustin Johnson won, Tiger took a 10 on a par 3 and still shot like what, 76?
Yeah, I mean he birdied his last
five out of his last
6.
6.
I mean, that kind of says something about how he plays. But then again, I realized he had a 10. He shot 76 and he had a 10.
Are you saying he's the biggest loser? I think
I was kind of leaning towards the winner, even though it was a bad outcome. If I went and had a 10 on all, I'd be shooting like 95.
Last time I had a 10, I was hoping I had a 12 on a par 3 a few years ago in the tournament, and I was really hoping they'd disqualify me because it's pretty depressing making that big of a number on one hole.
Yeah.
And I didn't respond. I think I shot like an 84. So
wow.
But I hit from the wrong tee markers. It was a whole disaster.
That sounds like a disaster. That sounds terrible.
And then I went on to make a bogey and then a double. It was just bad. But they were saying, here's a good one. So they're saying, did Tiger make did he birdie 5 out of the last 6 holes because of his resilience and he just digs deep, or was it because he's like, who cares? I only got 5 out of it.
I think who cares?
Yeah,
yes.
Me too. They were saying, it's because he's so resilient. I'm like, oh my God. Like, what does T38 do for him? Like, he's not grinding to get. I mean, he's always trying, but he's not digging deep. That's when he's in contention and maybe his leg's broken. And he wins like in 08. But to get T38, he wasn't digging deep.
I've noticed Tiger has done here recently. If Tiger's out of contention, his Sundays are always incredible. Because who cares? He's just out there playing like with the guys. But when he's in contention, there's that chance for him to kind of, sneak back to the field. And that's why I wasn't going to pick him. I mean, to me, it just didn't make any sense. Now, John Rahm.
Sneak back to the field. Hasn't he what's his record when he's leading after 54 holes? Like 50-1 or something?
Well, here recently, he hadn't been leading. That's the problem. Like, he's rarely leading any final rounds anymore. He wasn't leading the Masters last year. When he won, he was 2 shots back. Remember Tony Finau and Molinari? They were leading.
So him and Brooks were the group ahead?
Yes, they were the penultimate group. Yeah, so he played with he actually played with Finau, and I can't remember Molinari played with someone else.
No, he played with Brooks, didn't he?
I don't think so.
Seems
not in the final round.
Long ago.
I want to say he played with Finau because Finau hit the shot in the water on 12 that Tiger hit in the water this tournament.
Right.
We're gonna have to Google that.
We'll have to look that up.
Google it.
With Dustin Johnson's age.
But to that point,
36. I looked that up.
36 wins. He keeps winning, extraordinary amounts of money every week. Seems like he's in contention. Is he having his prime right now? Every player kind of enters a prime. Is this his prime golf?
Well, yeah, and this is like traditionally the age range where they have their prime, like mid-30s, where you're mature enough, you have experience, and you're still healthy enough, to hit it far and, practice a lot and all that. So I think for sure he's in his prime. He probably has another few years of his prime, probably till the end of his, till 40. He said something on the telecast where he wants to play maybe 10 more years and then enjoy his time with his kids and stuff. So he would be, Tiger's 44? So, I mean, I wonder if when he actually gets to 46, if he's going to really hang it up. I don't know if he's competitive.
But why?
He can always go back to Augusta, though.
Why would you quit?
Yeah.
I mean, why would you
quit? Why would you want to?
Because he wants to spend time with his family, because he trains hard. He's always gone, all that stuff.
Just reduce your schedule, though.
Exactly. You can pick and choose.
Well, yeah, and he's got 20 wins for his career, so he's exempt for a lot. He doesn't have to try to keep a card or get an invite. He's got the Masters forever, and he's got the regular tour events. So
he's won a Masters, he's won a U.S. Open, and has he won a PGA?
No, this is only his second major.
Lost that one PGA where what they call it, pot bunkers.
Well, and Morikawa, he got runner up to Morikawa this year. So
yeah, this year too. So, I mean, if I was a guy like Bryson, he's not going to last very long. I mean, just
he's going to wear his body out.
Exactly.
He's already tripping over his feet going to the 10th tee box. I mean, come on.
I mean, could you imagine if he actually does have vertigo? This could end his career.
Come on,
somewhere at least for a while.
Jason Day.
He did. Yeah, I remember he was in contention at a U.S. Open, wasn't he?
And almost passed out on like after hitting a drive. He like almost fell over. So Jason Day had it, and he was able to.
David Duval had it, and look at where he went.
David Duval. Yeah, it didn't work for him. I mean, I think it does take a bit of effort to overcome something like that. I think overcoming.
Oh well, I think he'll put in the effort if that's all it requires. Yeah, he's shown that.
Yeah. So now let's talk about the RSM real quick. The lead, because I haven't made any bets yet, so you all get to be on the front end of this one. So they would assume that the A player this week is Webb Simpson. What do y'all think about that? They say he's the best player in the field this week.
Oh, he's the best player, highest ranked playing.
Highest ranked player in the field this week.
And he's from he's living in North Carolina, so South Carolina, same he's from the area. And Webb is he putts really well, and if I'm not mistaken, the course is pretty short. So he hits it straight. Distance isn't, his strength, but he hits it real straight and he makes a lot of putts. So
okay. So that might be a guy. Now, next one, Tommy Fleetwood.
I like him.
Hit a duck hook on the par 3 starting off yesterday. Was that yesterday?
It was.
He he hooked it left of that bunker on the par 3.
That's you like Fleetwood though, Taylor?
I do. I feel like he's so relatable. I just like him.
In what way? I mean,
he likes MILFs. I mean, he's married to like a 58-year-old, isn't he?
Oh, way to get into his personal life.
He married his agent.
I think he just comes across as, and he just doesn't have that look of a super serious golfer. He comes in as one of those kind of like, I don't know, just somebody that is not a stereotypical golfer. And
you think he's down to earth? You think he's down to earth?
Yes.
Okay.
Very, very.
Okay. He's not Superman like Bryson.
No.
Well, Bryson clearly is a Superman anymore. He's got to get this, whatever this illness is, he needs to get it under control if he wants to win. Okay, we've also got Fitzpatrick. He shows up in the.
He could be a good pick this week.
He could be a good pick. He shows up in the top, and then also guys who are a little down the way. Fratelli, who played well at the Masters, so I think he might be able to continue that trend.
Okay, what's up with the glasses?
I was just gonna say, how do you guys feel about the Oakleys with clear lenses?
What are they?
They're eyeglasses, I think, because he used to wear eyeglasses up until a couple months ago.
Prescriptions?
They're
I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure they are.
Then why wouldn't he get prescription sunglasses? Why get prescription glasses?
Maybe the shades bother his eyes. Maybe they bother his depth.
Is there a difference in like depth perception? Well, because I remember when I was in junior high, I had to get glasses, but I like golf wise, I couldn't. The depth perception was bad, so I went to contacts, and it wasn't bad at all, obviously. But is there a difference between eyeglasses and prescription sunglasses on the depth perception? Because I noticed it with the clear glasses.
Yeah, I would imagine there is. I mean, he probably has like some anti-glare on his glasses now that make him basically have supervision. I'm sure it's something going on, because why would you wear them otherwise? They look crazy.
Right.
Why would you wear them otherwise?
Like every time that he gets brought up, that's all I think about. It's just that.
Yeah, no, he might as well just get those Horace Grant goggles,
I know, it just wherever it is.
That's kind of what I think about.
All right, so and then Redmond is another person I'm looking at this week. Doc Redmond, I think his name is.
Oh yeah, he's from Clemson.
So he's from Clemson, and that's why I was thinking about him, because of the South Carolina connection there.
You need to look up those. I feel like a lot of Georgia Bulldogs live there and practice out of there. Like Harris English, Brian Harmon type guys. I feel there's quite a few of them that live there and practice out of there.
Perfect.
Davis Love.
Yeah, well, I would never pick Davis Love. He's not.
He's like 60 now.
Yeah, so. he just, if he's showing up, he's just the honorary starter at this point.
He's Michael Jordan, because they went to North Carolina together.
Michael Jordan is like 61. So, Yeah. And then my last person that I've been sprinkling a little on him every time, and he's never let me down so far. Maverick McNeely. For whatever
he's
reason,
good. He's
a baller.
Average golf fan. The average golf fan doesn't know who he is, but he is a stud. Yeah,
he is good.
He's not quite as girl. He's not quite as good as his girlfriend Danielle King, though.
Yeah, I mean,
she's just a beast.
Yeah, that would suck to be in her shadow.
So now the women's U.S. Open is in Houston at Champions. Where's it at?
Golf Club. Champions Golf Club, right?
Club.
Like 4 miles down the road here.
Yes.
Oh,
now
wow.
we have to figure out something for one of these events here in Houston. We've got to do something here.
Well, I'm going to be out of town for that week because that's
way to go,
Puerto
JJ.
Vallarta Pro-Am. Well, yeah, Puerto Vallarta we're not going to be allowed in anyways. It's going to probably be all restricted.
Yeah, you're not. You're going to be wearing a mask on the golf course.
I need to figure out how to get my house on Airbnb, though, because that's only a couple miles from Champions.
You're right. Yeah, you could probably make some money there. You definitely can. All right, so we wanted to get everybody episode, a Masters recap. Anything you all want to leave the people with before we get out of here today?
I kind of have a question, and I definitely don't want to get too much into it because I know people are going to have a lot of opinions about it.
Okay.
So with you saying at the golf tournament, there's going to be people that are outside wearing masks. So thoughts on a local golf tournament, a charity golf tournament, you enter in with a foursome that you obviously have been around those people, you know about it, you are, intertwined somehow. You are required to wear a mask while out on the golf course playing golf.
Oh, I wouldn't go. I mean, I'm not golfing in a mask. You're already outside. Now what would be the purpose of you wearing?
They were making the little leaguers baseball around here when COVID first started in the spring. They're making them play with masks on. I'm like, wouldn't that be kind of dangerous? Like I don't know, your vision and you're like got balls flying at you.
I mean, I can understand a sport where you come in contact with another player, like football, basketball, if it was a way to do it, or even baseball. But golf, I'm never within, only if I'm in a cart, I'm never within 6 feet of anyone except probably on the green and in a cart.
Exactly. The reason I ask, I just turned down a golf tournament for that reason. Got the email and read it and read all through these crazy restrictions. And I'm like, the people that I chose to be into this golf tournament that I'm going to be playing in the foursome with, I interact with on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be out on a golf course, not even close to anyone other than the people that I've been around. I'm not wearing a mask.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I want to breathe in that fresh air.
Yes.
I
just wondered, I didn't want to get too crazy into it, but I was like, I'm gonna have to ask somebody about this. And what's a better, than the podcast. So
the mask restrictions are kind of funny just in general, because if you look at like football games, for example, the city of Houston allows the Texan Stadium to have like 25% occupancy, but the people in the stands, they're not wearing a mask.
Right.
But when they go into the concession area, they have to put on a mask. And I just think that it's kind of trial and error, but I would say you're safer wearing a mask than not.
They're just trying to cover themselves. So if someone gets COVID, they won't be sued. But, one last thing I'll end with on the radio, we always we talk about Brooks and Dustin who'd win a fight, which Dustin would, but we talk about if they're playing their best, who's the best? Like Rory, to me, it's Rory or Dustin. But those guys on PGA Tour Radio were saying, I think Dustin's proved it's him because when he wins, but Rory's won some majors, some U.S. Opens by a dozen shots, hasn't he? When he won one of those, he's won a lot of.
He won his first U.S. Open by like 10.
So I still want, because if Rory would have put together a decent first round, he would have been right in there. He shot 75 the first day.
Yeah,
and it's like, and then he came back and you got hot yesterday, and he almost had a chance. I mean, if Dustin wouldn't have made those birdies, right after he stumbled, but.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good conversation. Maybe we can put this as a poll also on the Golf Pod. Again, Instagram _golf_pod. Who, if you're at your full potential, Rory, Brooks, or Dustin?
Dustin.
I think it's Dustin
or Bryson.
Nah,
he won the US Open by 6.
But he doesn't have that gear that they have. They have a different.
You think Brooks has Dustin and because he has? I don't know.
I've seen it. I mean, he won 3 or 4 majors. I mean, he has that gear.
And
I think
he just had a man crush on Brooks.
And he won it all different. No, that's Taylor. And he won it all different places. He won. You got to remember,
First he'd be able to take Dustin in a fight. No way. And
listen,
dude, he's just got those biceps for the girls. You know, like Dustin's street. Like he's been
street.
Oh yeah, he was in an armed robbery. You never read that Golf Week article?
I can't say I did.
He was a getaway driver.
Yep. Then he should be in prison now. Why is he winning? Why is he
was
winning
like
golf
16.
Tournaments? It doesn't
Why
matter.
do you think he went junior college and then Coastal Carolina? Go look it up.
Yeah, I need to look that up
now
because now his street cred is a little more credible to me.
Your guys' cred about golf, I don't know.
I'm still picking him.
Who, Dustin or Brooks?
Dustin.
In a fight?
I was the one picking Brooks. I was the one that picked Brooks.
Yeah,
I was
only
Dustin
Brooks. Too.
Yeah, I was only Brooks. So
he's definitely got the reach. Those long arms.
Yeah, he does.
Popeye forearms. Yeah.
Well, we've got a new poll. We'll put that out. And again, thank you all for listening. If you like what you've heard or if you like what you saw, follow us on Instagram at golf_pod. Follow JJ at JJ Wood Golf or Taylor at Taylor Cusack or me at Lebronald Palmer. If you go to the iTunes store, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. Follow us on YouTube also. We're trying to get those videos out. So please share that detail with anyone you think might be interested. And this has been episode 34 of the Golf Performance Group podcast. We're out.